Hello, everyone. Welcome to the English Conversation Podcast, where we help you speak English confidently and naturally every day. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Daniel. Today, we have a very exciting topic that's part of everyone's daily life, transportation. Whether you're commuting to work, traveling for fun, or just getting around town, knowing how to talk about transportation in English is super useful.
Absolutely, Daniel. In this episode, we'll guide you through common vocabulary, useful phrases, and handy tips to help you chat about buses, trains, taxis, bikes, planes, you name it.
And we'll include real-life examples, mini conversations, and even some fun idioms related to travel and transport. So, whether you're a beginner or just want to improve your speaking skills, you're in the right place.
Before we start, here's a question for you, our listeners. What's your favorite way to travel? We'd love to hear from you in the comments or wherever you listen to our show.
I personally love cycling. It's healthy, eco-friendly, and a great way to explore the city. How about you, Sarah?
I'm a big fan of trains. There's something relaxing about watching the scenery while traveling comfortably.
Perfect. So let's dive in and start learning how to talk about transportation in English.
Let's start with some important vocabulary. Today, we'll cover many types of transportation, so you can recognize and talk about them confidently.
That's right. First, some common ways people get around. Car, bus, train, bicycle, airplane, boat, taxi, subway, motorcycle, and walking.
Let's say each type slowly, and then we'll give a natural example sentence. Ready? Car. For example, I usually drive my car to work.
Bus. The bus is often crowded during rush hour.
Train. The train is fast and comfortable.
Bicycle. She loves riding her bicycle in the park.
Airplane. We flew on an airplane to visit our relatives.
Boat. The boat ride on the river was relaxing.
Taxi. I called a taxi to get to the airport quickly.
Subway. Also known as the metro or underground in some places. The subway is the best way to travel in the city center.
Motorcycle. He rides a motorcycle to avoid traffic jams.
And walking. Sometimes walking is the nicest way to explore a new neighborhood.
Great! Now, let's add some descriptive phrases that often go with transportation types. For example, public transportation means buses, trains, or subways that anyone can use.
And a private vehicle is a car or motorcycle that belongs to you or your family. Electric scooters and ride-sharing services like Uber or Lyft are becoming very popular too.
Let's practice these new words with some sentences. I take public transportation every day.
My family owns a private vehicle. She uses a ride-sharing app to get home.
Perfect. Remember, practicing pronunciation and repeating these words aloud will help you remember them better.
Yes, and with these words, you're ready to talk about almost any way people travel. Now that we've learned the vocabulary, Let's talk about daily transportation. How do you usually get around, Sarah?
I usually take the bus to work. It's convenient and I can relax or listen to music on the way. How about you, Daniel?
I often ride my bicycle because it's healthy and eco-friendly, and I avoid traffic jams.
Great examples. Let's practice some useful phrases to describe daily transportation habits. You can say, I take the bus to work, or I usually drive my car.
Or, if you want to say how often you use a certain transport, you can add adverbs like usually, often, sometimes, rarely, or never. For example, I usually take the train to school.
And for preferences, you can say things like, I prefer walking when the weather is nice, or I like using the subway because it's fast.
Another useful phrase is to describe your route or travel time. You can say, my commute takes about 30 minutes by bus.
Or, I take the subway because it's quicker during rush hour.
It's always good to add details like that because it makes your English sound more natural.
Let's try a short conversation now. How do you describe your daily commute?
Sure, I usually take the bus to work. It's comfortable and affordable. Sometimes it's crowded during rush hour, but overall it's reliable.
That sounds great. And I'd say, I often ride my bicycle. It's a good exercise and helps me avoid traffic jams.
Listeners, now it's your turn. Think about how you get around every day and try to say it out loud using some of these phrases.
Remember, practicing speaking is the key to becoming fluent. Don't worry about mistakes. Just keep trying. Now, let's talk about asking and giving directions, which is super important when you're using transportation in a new place or city.
Absolutely. Knowing how to ask for directions clearly can help you get where you want to go without stress. Let's start with some common questions you might hear or want to ask.
Here are some examples. How do I get to the train station? Or, is there a bus stop near here?
Or you can ask, which subway line goes to the airport? And how long does it take by taxi?
Great questions. Now, when someone gives you directions, you might hear phrases like left, right, straight ahead, next stop, transfer, or last station.
For example, someone might say, go straight ahead for 2 blocks, then turn left at the traffic light.
Or take the number 5 bus from this stop and get off at Central Station.
And if you need to change from one transportation line to another, you hear the word transfer. For instance, you need to transfer at Main Street Station to the blue subway line.
Let's practice a mini dialogue together.
Excuse me, how do I get to the city center?
You can take the bus. Get on the number 10 bus from this stop. Then get off at Park Avenue.
And then?
From there, walk straight ahead for 3 blocks, and you'll see the city center on your right.
Perfect. Remember, using clear directions like left, right, straight, and transfer will help you understand and give directions easily.
Listeners, try making your own direction questions and answers. Practice saying, where's the nearest subway station? Or is the bus stop far from here?
And don't be shy. Asking for directions is very common, and people generally love to help.
Now, let's move on to booking and buying tickets. This is an essential part of any trip using public transportation.
Right, Sarah. Whether you're buying tickets for a bus, train, or airplane, there are some common words and phrases you should know.
Let's start with some key vocabulary. Ticket, pass, one-way, round trip, fare, and schedule.
For example, a one-way ticket means you're only traveling in one direction. A round-trip ticket is for going somewhere and coming back.
Exactly. Now, here are some useful phrases when you buy tickets. You can say, "I'd like a ticket to downtown, please."
Or ask, how much is a one-way fare?
And if you're planning to travel often, you might ask, "Can I buy a monthly pass?"
Good point. Monthly passes or weekly passes give you unlimited rides for a certain period.
Let's listen to a short conversation at a ticket counter.
Hi, I'd like a round-trip ticket to the airport.
Sure. When would you like to leave?
Tomorrow morning, please.
Okay, that will be $30. Here is your ticket.
Thank you very much.
That's simple, right? You can also buy tickets online or through apps, which is very convenient.
Or if you use a subway or bus regularly, you might use a contactless card or mobile app to tap and pay.
So, practice these phrases and imagine yourself buying tickets with confidence. Try saying, "Where can I buy a ticket?" Or, "Does this ticket include a transfer?"
Great practice, Sarah. Now you'll never feel lost when it's time to buy your ticket.
Now, let's switch gears a bit and talk about travel experiences. Sharing stories about your trips is a wonderful way to practice English and connect with others.
Absolutely. Everyone has interesting travel memories, and describing them helps you use new vocabulary and expressions.
Let me start. Last summer, I took a train trip along the coast. The views were amazing. It was a bit crowded, but overall very comfortable and relaxing.
That sounds great. I remember a bus ride I took in the mountains. The road was narrow and winding, and at times it felt a little scary, but the scenery was breathtaking.
When you talk about travel experiences, it's useful to use descriptive adjectives like crowded, comfortable, delayed, scenic, fast, and safe.
Right. For example, you can say, the bus was crowded during the holiday season, or the train ride was very scenic with beautiful views of the mountains.
And if something went wrong, you might say, "Our flight was delayed by 2 hours," or "I missed my connection and had to wait."
On the positive side, you can say, the taxi driver was friendly and helpful, or the airplane was very comfortable with good service.
Let's practice a short story. I'll describe my trip, and Daniel will respond. Last month, I flew to New York. The flight was long, but smooth. I stayed near Central Park and walked everywhere.
That sounds wonderful. I flew to New York last year, too. The subway system there was busy but easy to use.
Listeners, think about a recent trip and try sharing your experience. Use adjectives to describe how you felt about the transportation and the journey itself.
Remember, storytelling helps make your English more lively and interesting. Now, let's talk about something everyone experiences at some point: transportation problems.
Yes, no trip is perfect. Sometimes things don't go as planned, and it's important to know how to talk about problems and find solutions in English.
Let's start with common problems like delays, traffic jams, breakdowns, lost tickets, and missed connections.
For example, you might say, the bus was late because of traffic, or my train was delayed by 30 minutes.
Or, if you have trouble with tickets, you can say, I lost my ticket and I don't know what to do.
And for missed connections, I missed my flight and had to book a new one.
Now, let's hear how you can respond to these problems or solve them. For instance, if the bus is late, you might say, I'll wait a little longer or take a taxi instead.
Or, if you lose your ticket, you can ask, where can I buy a new ticket? Or, can I get a replacement?
If you miss your train, you might say, I need to buy a ticket for the next train.
Let's practice a dialogue about a problem and solution.
Excuse me, the bus was supposed to arrive 20 minutes ago. What should I do?
I'm sorry for the delay. You can wait here or take a taxi if you're in a hurry. We'll also try to send the next bus faster.
Thank you. I think I'll wait a little longer.
See, it's helpful to stay polite and ask clearly when something goes wrong.
Listeners, try practicing these phrases about problems and solutions. It will prepare you for real-life situations.
Yes, and remember, staying calm and using clear English always helps you get the assistance you need. Now, let's have some fun with English idioms and expressions related to transportation. These will make your English more colorful and natural.
Yes, idioms are phrases where the meaning is different from the literal words. Let's learn a few that you might hear often.
The first one is on the right track. It means you're doing something correctly or making good progress. For example, you're on the right track with your English studies.
Another one is miss the boat. This means you missed an opportunity. For example, I missed the boat on buying concert tickets because I waited too long.
There's also hit the road, which means to start a journey. You might say, let's hit the road early tomorrow to avoid traffic.
And jump on the bandwagon means to join others in doing something popular. For example, many people are jumping on the bandwagon and using electric scooters.
Great examples. Idioms like these come up in everyday conversation, so recognizing and using them will help you sound more like a native speaker.
Let's practice using them in a short conversation.
I think you're on the right track with improving your pronunciation.
Thanks, but I fear I missed the boat on learning transportation vocabulary earlier.
No worries. It's never too late to hit the road and study more.
And remember, jumping on the bandwagon with daily practice can really help.
Listeners, try using these idioms in your conversations. It's a fun way to expand your English. Before we finish today's episode, let's talk about some cultural notes and useful tips related to transportation in English-speaking countries.
That's an important part of learning a language, understanding how people actually use transportation and behave in different places.
For example, in many English-speaking cities, it's polite to stand on one side of an escalator to let people pass on the other side.
Yes, usually people stand on the right side and walk on the left, but this can vary by city.
Another tip is about tipping taxi drivers. In countries like the US, it's common to tip about 10 to 15% of the fare to show appreciation for good service.
Great point. Also, queuing or lining up properly at bus stops, train stations, or airports is very important. Cutting in line is usually considered rude.
When using public transportation, remember to give up your seat to elderly people or pregnant women if you are sitting.
Technology is another big help nowadays. Using apps for real-time schedules or ride-sharing services like Uber or Lyft can make your travels easier.
And always check the traffic rules and local transportation customs when you visit a new city, especially if you're renting a car or riding a bike.
So these small cultural tips will help you not only speak English, but also travel smart and respect local customs.
Listeners, try observing these tips when you travel or use public transport. It will make your experience smoother and more enjoyable. We've covered a lot today. Let's take a moment to recap some of the most important words and phrases about transportation.
Great idea, Sarah. First, we learned vocabulary for different types of transportation, like car, bus, train, bicycle, and airplane.
Then, we practiced talking about daily transportation using phrases like, I take the bus to work, and I usually ride my bicycle because it's healthy.
We also learned how to ask for and give directions with expressions like, how do I get to the train station? And go straight ahead and turn left.
And don't forget booking and buying tickets. You can say, I'd like a one-way ticket to downtown, please, or can I buy a monthly pass?
Plus, we shared travel experiences with descriptive words like crowded, comfortable, and delayed.
We talked about transportation problems and how to solve them using phrases like, the bus was late, and where can I get a replacement ticket?
And to make your English more natural, we explored idioms like miss the boat, hit the road, and on the right track.
Now, it's time for some practice. Try this. Describe your daily commute using words and phrases from today's episode. Say it out loud.
Or ask someone for directions using phrases like, where is the nearest bus stop? Or which subway line goes to the airport?
You can also practice a short conversation about buying tickets. I'd like a round-trip ticket.
Remember, the more you speak and use these phrases, the more confident you will become.
So keep practicing, and don't worry about making mistakes. Every step is progress. That brings us to the end of today's episode on how to talk about transportation in English.
We hope you found these words, phrases, and tips helpful for your daily conversations and travel experiences.
Remember, learning English is a journey, just like traveling. What matters most is practice and confidence.
So don't be afraid to speak, make mistakes, and keep improving every day.
We'd love to hear from you. Tell us in the comments or on social media, what's your favorite way to travel? Or have you ever had an interesting travel experience?
And if you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends.
Thank you for listening to the English Conversation podcast. This is Sarah.
And Daniel, saying goodbye and wishing you safe and happy travels.
Bye for now.